Well, I think Salsa is a fascinating project in many respects. It started with the overarching topic and what the research funder called for, which was connecting or asking how small farms are connected with global markets. And obviously small farms seem to be very disconnected from global markets. And probably most are, but we knew very little about it. What is also fascinating is that we were asked to include not only research partners from Europe, but also from Africa. And then the big question is how do you combine, and what are research questions and methods that would work in both Europe and Africa? And is it the same questions at all, and can you apply the same methods? And that was interesting in itself. And you can plan that to a certain extent. And I think we were a very effective team in planning a great project. But then when you start implementing it, things change and you have to adapt, and you learn on the way, and you get to know your research partners better. And you get to know the situation of small farms better. And this means a lot, because there are lots of uncertainties and yeah, there is a vagueness, there is a diversity, there is a context specificity. So lots of stuff that you cannot plan for, or only to a limited extent. That means you have to be creative on the way, but also not being too creative. Which is a fascinating process, and I guess I can say that for me personally, I learned more in this project than in many other projects before. I'm at the moment engaged in new project plannings, again EU-Africa, and again on farmers and food and nutrition and how they are connected with consumers. And it's fantastic. For me, the basis could not be better, because we come fresh from the Salsa experience, which is still being finalized, everything, and you can try to do things a bit differently based on what you learned. Well, it's not concluded yet. That's obvious, and I think what we really learned is that there are very different strategies of small farmers, and in terms of livelihood strategies, why they produce, for whom they produce, how they market, the role that farming plays in their families, in their households. All that is extremely diverse, even within one region. So definitely there is not one type of small farm situation. And whatever you generalize about, in terms of concluding about small farms, it's too general. That has also implications for policy. Because if you want to make policies that are really helpful for small farmers, you need to explore very carefully who your target group is, and even within one region that will differ a lot, and you might need to have a range of instruments, and we're talking in Salsa about the policy mix, which is a bit related to that. But to my mind, what is even more important is to not have a fixed idea about small farms. Like, for example, ag economists told us 30 years ago in Europe that small farms will disappear. Now, if I look at the proportion of small farms, even in a country like Germany, or you can look wherever you want, the proportion of small farms remains pretty high. And in some regions it can be 80–90% in Central Europe, in Northwestern Europe. Which is amazing, because in agricultural economics terms they don't seem to be competitive. But in livelihood terms and in terms of their strategies of combining different incomes and doing the best with their given family situation and with their various goals they have. It's perfect, it works. So recognizing that is already a big step forward for research and for the policy community.